us to our final keynote of the day, and it's from our partners and supporters at the Greater Manchester Combined Authority. The speech is called No One Left Behind, and it's been given to us today by Councillor Sean Fielding. Welcome, Sean.
Hi, my mic is on. Wonderful. You're not going to tell me
Brilliant.
I'm muted.
No, not at all. No, it's definitely the phrase of 2020 is you're on mute. So Sean is lead member for employment, skills and digital at GMCA. And we're very excited that he's with us because he's going to explain what Greater Manchester is doing to support young people at this very tough time. And also, I guess, reflect on some of the things we've been talking about during the day on young digital leaders, because I think this has been a great topic. But Sean, incredibly tough times for young people in Greater Manchester at whatever stage they are in their journey through school, higher education and into work. So the floor is yours. Please tell us what you're doing to support them at this tough time.
Well, thanks so much, Robin, and I'm really pleased to be able to make the keynote speech at the end of the conference this morning. I'm so sorry that I was unable to join much more of what's been going on earlier today, because I've just caught the discussion there that just happened immediately before me coming on, and some of the table discussions just towards the end of the sessions, which sounded incredibly interesting. But unfortunately, yesterday a number of changes to the lockdown restrictions in Greater Manchester were announced, and maybe it's a sign of our digital future that I found out about them off Twitter rather than being formally notified as the leader of the council. But there was a lot of fallout from that I've had to deal with. So I'm truly sorry that I was unable to join for much more this morning. But it sounds like it's been an incredible session. So I'm really excited to be talking with the UK's young digital leaders at a time when our digital economy and the impact of digital on our economy is more crucial than ever. All kinds of organisations that had digital strategies and intentions, but either didn't get round to acting on them or were only slowly beginning to deliver them, have been required to turbocharge their efforts in order to survive and continue functioning through this crisis. In Greater Manchester, digital is responsible for around £5 billion worth of economic activity. We've got around 10,000 digital businesses, and more than 86,000 people are employed in digital or tech roles across the city region, and it is growing incredibly fast, even despite the pandemic. And Greater Manchester, due to its affordability, our diversity, and the infrastructure that we have in the city region, has been ranked the #1 tech town in the UK Tech Towns Index. Last week, we ran a whole series of Switch to Digital events for people looking for a career in digital and tech, and over 600 people took part, which is an incredible number and far exceeded our expectations. And despite the impact of the pandemic, demand for skilled digital people continues and is higher than ever. With the BBC, GCHQ, homegrown digital and e-commerce successes, a growing artificial intelligence sector, and international companies coming here to GM, it wasn't surprising then that Greater Manchester was ranked that #1 UK city for IT professionals to live and work. It's a real privilege to be here today amongst some talented and inspirational young leaders who are already using their voice for good. Being a young leader is both an opportunity and a challenge. And I speak as somebody who became the leader of Oldham Council when I was just 28. Now, being elected to that position understandably raised a few eyebrows, not least amongst friends who asked me, why the bloody hell would you want to do that? But young leaders are essential in any society to ensure that leadership reflects the people that it serves. In the case of local government, the sector that I'm primarily from, it's often observed that old white men are disproportionately represented. And I've got nothing against all white men. I hope to be one day. But to have leadership provided by such an unrepresentative group of people is not a recipe for good or inclusive decision making. And young leaders do face challenges on this basis from those that are cynical and believe that young leaders can lack legitimacy because of their age. I think if you look at the replies that I get to some of my tweets and some of the comments that pop up on my Facebook page, that's a demonstration of that. But it's an achievement to reach a leadership position, and you wouldn't be there if you weren't considered capable. And there's absolutely no need for age to be a barrier, and young leaders must not allow those who suggest that it is to get away with it. Now, I think I want to use this opportunity to talk about our vision for digital in Greater Manchester and what we're doing to achieve that. We have a history of breaking the mould here in GM, and we describe ourselves as doing digital differently. What we mean by that is that we're putting people at the heart of our plans and working towards our ambitions to be recognised as a world-leading digital city region. And all this has been outlined in our digital blueprint for Greater Manchester with a series of objectives, all underscored and supported by key projects that are underway and taking place here in GM. Our vision is to create a real critical mass of digital talent, positioning Greater Manchester as the key place for businesses seeking a digitally skilled workforce to invest in outside of London. We know the importance of a future-proofed tech talent pipeline, connecting education to industry through harnessing those real role models and industry mentors like those that are here today. We're ensuring that the system of post-16 technical education in Greater Manchester provides young people with a clear pathway defined by employers into all priority digital and tech occupations. And we do that by talking up digital. Digital is a really exciting place to be, and we really need young people and bright and passionate minds to help us achieve our ambitions. And we want to inspire those young people to think about a career in digital and give them the confidence to do it. And that point about giving them the confidence to do it is particularly pertinent in Greater Manchester, a city region that, relatively speaking, is quite unequal. I speak as a leader of one of the less affluent boroughs in Greater Manchester, where access to digital and the idea of going into a digital or tech sector job is a challenge for a lot of people compared to other parts of GM. And so our strategy in Greater Manchester is to make it a choice that all young people across the city region will be able to consider, rather than one that has artificial barriers against it because of the geography of where you were born or the income of the household that you were born into. We need to put mechanisms in place to support our young people and help develop those real transformative career opportunities, with opportunities for progression too. We know through market analysis that the digital sector is not just growing fast, but it is providing not just new jobs, but jobs with a real opportunity to move on and progress and earn those higher wages that will support our economy more broadly, support our businesses and our public sector to be more resilient for the next recession, whatever causes it or whenever it comes. We also need more diverse talent and representation in senior roles, decision makers and leaders. And as employers, we need to build a culture for diverse talent to thrive. And actually, this is a front on which Greater Manchester is recognised to be successful compared to other areas. One of the reasons that many organisations and government departments are looking to relocate to Greater Manchester over other options throughout the country is that diverse talent pool. If you go to Cambridge, for example, you'll probably get a certain type of person who can access digital roles there, but you come to Greater Manchester and you can get a real cross-section of the population that is really representative of the people that live and work in our city region. But to do all of this, we really need to address the immediate digital skills shortage and support employers to diversify their workforce by developing new models of upskilling and reskilling, and especially with recruitment. And I heard the conversations about recruitment just prior to me coming to speak to you this afternoon. So here in Greater Manchester, the measures that we're taking to address those shortages include things like a scheme called Go Digital, which is an innovative activity to excite young people about digital opportunities and build their skills outside of the formal curriculum. We've got Digital Futures, which is a programme of support to build sustainable connections between education and industry so that those links exist and those sectors talk to each other, and it feels almost natural to move into the digital industry when you come to the end of your education. We've got the Fast Track Digital Workforce Fund, which was developed to address locally identified digital skills gaps, and this partnership is the first of its kind in the UK, set up to support both Greater Manchester and Lancashire residents with accessible routes into digital employment. We've got the Greater Manchester Young Persons Guarantee, which is an improved offer compared to the national offer that the government are coming up with. And we're really fortunate to have former Olympian Diane Medal chairing the Young Persons Task Force that can ensure that designing that is a real inclusive process that will reach the communities that we need to be genuinely transformational for our city region. We've also got the Young People's Panel, which highlighted how important it is to address digital exclusion in people under 30. This is a long list. When schools and colleges were closed, we launched a technology fund aiming to provide learners at risk of digital isolation with the technology and connectivity needed to continue their learning at home. And this afternoon marks the formal launch of Ada North here in Manchester, a free-to-attend college that will help low-income students progress into high-skilled digital roles to open that Manchester base. Around 200,000 people in Greater Manchester remain digitally excluded, and that impacts all groups, and it's something that we really need to be thinking about as public sector organisations that I lead, and also the private sector, about how we want to continue to access that kind of customer base and the people that need to access services like those provided by my organisation. We also need to make sure that all our residents and businesses can benefit from the opportunities that digital can bring, because transformation to the digital economy will be what provides organisations with that resilience during the next recession, whenever it comes, because there will be another one, regardless of what causes it. But this pandemic has really demonstrated the importance of tackling that digital exclusion to ensure that nobody is left behind, and how integral it is that everyone should have fair and equal opportunity to access that digital technology to improve their lives. So through the range of initiatives that I've outlined today, through the way that we're really encouraging and fostering those digital leaders, connecting industry to education, connecting people with mentors, making sure that we shout loud about those opportunities that digital can bring to the city region, we really believe that we can achieve what our digital blueprint sets out. So it leaves me just to say thank you so much for inviting me today and giving me the opportunity to make these closing remarks. I wish you the best of success in your careers and futures, and hope that you'll be part of shaping our digital future in Greater Manchester. Thanks, Robin.